beautiful day in Portland, which is a great kickoff and move to our first congressional district campaign, which we know that the Democrats and Suzanne Bonamici are going to be successful. Fortunate today to have some really wonderful people up here on the stage with us, and I would first like to introduce Representative Brad Witt from what we talked about, the River District. So thank you, Brad.
Thank you all very, very much, and Suzanne, the warmest of congratulations. Thank you everyone for being here this morning. I want to address the spectacle that the other party creates virtually on a nightly basis when they engage in their friendly evening debates. Jay Leno put it this way: if the Earth was visited by aliens, this could be a huge problem for the Republican Party. Michelle Bachmann would want to deport them. Rick Perry would want to execute them. Mitt Romney would be undecided about what to do with them. And Herman Cain, well, who knows? This is funny stuff, but everyone in this room here today knows that the Republican agenda is absolutely nothing to laugh about. And I'm going to read a few quotes from Suzanne's Republican opponent on climate change. There is absolutely no science that can be proven that suggests that we, through our activities, advance climate change. I think it's an arrogant position. On choice, I'm pro-life. It's very clear where I stand. If you have any questions at all, you can call Oregon Right to Life. And on right-wing politics, I also attend Tea Party meetings, and I have for months and months and months. This, my friends, is no joke. Mr. Cornelius does not support basic scientific evidence, a woman's right to choose, or marriage equality. In fact, very few things that any one of us in this room here today stand for. And Mr. Cornelius certainly does not represent the views of middle-class Oregonians. It's time for all Democrats to join me in support of my good friend, Suzanne Bonamici. Now, our challenges in this election are great, but our efforts have to be greater. And now is the time for every Democrat to step forward and to make a difference by electing Suzanne Bonamici as the next Congresswoman in the state of Oregon, who will help us to begin to take our country back. Folks, a warm round of applause for our next Congresswoman.
And next, it's my deep honor to introduce our Commissioner of Labor and Industries, Brad Avakian.
Let's make no mistake about it. The Tea Party conservatives in Congress are coming to Oregon. They won in New York. They're emboldened. They think they can walk into Northwest Oregon and win again. And they're coming with their Wall Street anti-worker values. And they have got to be stopped. But you know what? We have got just the candidate to stop them in Suzanne Bonamici. But it isn't just about our great candidate. It's about who we are as Democrats. We are the party of labor and jobs. Yes. We are the party of fiscal responsibility. We're the party of choice.
Yeah.
We are the party that will protect Social Security and Medicare.
Yeah.
We are fortunate that every one of those values that we stand for as Democrats are the values of Northwest Oregon. And that is why it is not just that we're going to win because we have got a great candidate in Suzanne Bonamici, but that we are going to win because as Democrats, we will be united. Suzanne?
Thank you, Brad. Next, it is my honor to introduce, actually, as I always say, my Congressman, Earl Blumenauer.
I appreciate that. And let me just begin by saying how much I appreciated not just the words of Brad Witt and Brad Avant, the principled campaigns they waged. You know, this was an important prize. The 1st Congressional District plays a critical role in our state. And we had 3 strong, experienced candidates who were out there with what they believed in. They didn't agree on every single detail, but they stand for Oregon values. And I think they ran an extraordinary campaign. Each of these people is going to continue to serve our state. But this campaign laid a foundation that is absolutely essential. Now, Kurt and I spend some time in Washington. And a lot of what we believe in as Oregonians is in short supply. I mean, it's hard-edged. It's not very nice. It's not oriented towards problem solving. This congressional race is about reaffirming Oregon values, reaffirming problem solving, the same way we saw it in the primary going forward. I'm old enough that I worked closely with 2 giant Oregonians who served in the 1st Congressional District, Republican Wendell Wyatt and Democrat Les Oconee. They set a standard. They worked in a bipartisan fashion, fighting for what they believed in, but they put Oregon first, they got things done, and actually they cooperated over the years in a number of different ways. Suzanne comes to us actually with more experience than either Les or Wendell had when they started their congressional career. She has a proven record of experience in the political process, but in the Oregon tradition. Not what we're seeing in Washington now, but somebody who will put the values first, who is looking forward for ways to reach across party boundaries, who understands that the diverse 1st Congressional District has some of the most amazing Democrats in Oregon, but it's also got some, shall we say, spirited independents. And in times past, I'm proud to say, there have been people in the Republican Party who bucked the orthodoxy, who haven't been in this Tea Party small-minded mentality. Suzanne, as you've seen today, can rally the Democratic base. She can speak to the independents. She can represent the thoughtful Republicans and the diverse interests in the 1st Congressional District. I could not be more proud to be with her on the stage today, to congratulate the 2 Brads for what they have done to help with the spotlight, and look forward to each and every one of our efforts between now and January 31st to make sure that Suzanne doesn't just win, but with a punctuation point. a message about Oregon values, problem-solving skills, bringing us together, and breaking this madness that Kurt and I have to deal with every day. A decisive victory by Suzanne is going to be a message to these people. And it's going to be the start of a terrific year in 2012. Thank you very
much. So next it is my honor to introduce our congressman from the 5th District, which will also be a little bit of a battleground, Congressman Kurt Schrader.
Well, it's really, really great to be here. You know, coming from Washington, D.C., as Earl's alluded to, unity and bipartisanship are tough to come by these days. And sometimes even within the parties as we see it. But it's really nice. So we had a great race here. The race you saw in this primary, which I hope is a portender of the general election, was done in the way I think the Oregonians want to see it done. I don't know about you, but I was pretty sick and disgusted by the end of the last campaigns, you know, last year, with all the negativity, all these outside groups, you know, coming in and telling Oregonians what you're supposed to do. You don't know who they are, where they're from, but they're going to dictate the outcome of the race to you. Moreover, they're going to define who we know are really good people in the Democratic Party as great representatives in some other alien way. And I was hopeful that we're coming into the holiday season. It's supposed to be a season to rejoice. People are supposed to be wanting to get together. I mean, this is a pretty big deal. And and what are we seeing on the ads already? One day after the primary, Suzanne's opponent has decided that he's not in the spirit of the holidays. He doesn't care about what average Americans are dealing with on a daily basis. He'll do anything and say anything to get elected. And I've had a lot of respect for different people, and I'm sure he's a fine individual, but you know, people that are willing to change their spots just to get an elected race, I think that puts them way down the food chain, in my opinion. And every Oregonian, particularly in the CD1, should look at that very carefully. Who's willing to stand by their principles? Suzanne has been an advocate forever. I mean, she's raised a family. She knows what it's like to work hard in the sector. She's not been this career public servant. She's come recently, frankly, to the state legislature, now hopefully to Congress. But you need that sort of experience. You want a skilled representative. The people in this congressional district in particular, the high-tech industry, the agricultural industry you have, the progressive people you have in this district that look beyond party lines, you want someone that's going to represent your values at the end of the day. All I'm going to say is there was an election and her opponent was turned away because he did not represent the values. And his opponent at that time had some issues trying to get going on things. This person, Suzanne Bonamici, I know personally from my experience working with her in the state legislature, this is a gal that's on fire for her constituents. You do not want to get in her way if she has an interest or a passion. She is eloquent, she is thoughtful, she is fair, she understands how to reach out to all the diverse groups. I don't care if you're a Democrat, an independent, a labor leader, a businessman, a moderate Republican, she will be there for you. This is the type of person you need in Congress in these extremely difficult times. Right now, I can't get a Republican to co-sponsor any of my bills. They've decided, because they're a lockstep, goose-stepping group of individuals in Washington, D.C., that they are not going to work with us in any way whatsoever. Our country deserves better than that. Our country deserves someone that's going to step up, go beyond partisan lines, and fight for you, your jobs, your home, your children. And that would be Suzanne Bonamici. I'm proud to support you.
Now it is my great honor to introduce the next Congresswoman from the 1st Congressional District.
Thank you so much, everyone. And I just want to say that Bonamici means good friends in Italian. So I want to thank my good friends who are here today, especially my good friends on the stage, and my good friends all across the 1st Congressional District for this honor of being here today. And I really want to offer a special note of gratitude to my fellow Democratic candidates in the primary. We have been and remain united on most of the important stakes in this election. Rebuilding a strong, vibrant middle class with opportunities for all of our young people, jobs for our family, and dignity for our seniors. We've been and will remain united on those issues, and we showed the people of Oregon's 1st Congressional District that we're deeply committed to the principle of economic fairness for all. The people of Oregon are really fortunate to have both Brad Avakian and Brad Witt representing these values in Oregon, and Congressman Schrader and Congressman Blumenauer representing these values in Washington, D.C. You know, the middle class wasn't created by accident. Generations of working men and women had to organize and sacrifice over decades to make the American dream a reality. And today, it isn't being threatened by accident. There are people who really believe in success without a conscience. Those who have forgotten the difference between right and wrong. And those who want our families, our small businesses, and our nation's seniors to pay the price for a financial crash that they did not cause. I have a background as a legal aid assistant, a consumer protection attorney, an advocate for our schools, and a legislator. And I have been fighting for fairness and opportunity my entire career. And that is why, at this point in history, I have something to offer. As I said on election night, you know, talk is cheap. It's easy for anyone running for office to simply say they'll do something. But with me, Oregonians know they can look at my record and know that I'll stand up for them, that they can trust me, and that I'll continue fighting for what is most important to the people in this district. Protecting and caring for the most vulnerable members of our society, they are not a line item that can be slashed indiscriminately. Keeping our promise to the generation before us on Social Security and Medicare, period. Fulfilling our commitment to the generation to come by funding our schools. A quality education for our children is a solemn obligation. It's not a luxury that we can take away, especially when we can least afford it. And putting the needs of Oregon's middle-class families and those who struggle to get ahead above preserving tax breaks for the wealthiest. Protecting a woman's right to make her own health care decisions without interference from politicians. And fighting for fairness. Fairness is our bottom line, it's my bottom line, it's not up for grabs to the highest bidder. These values represent who I am, what I believe, and what I've stood for my entire career, and they demonstrate some clear differences between my opponent and me. My opponent said that he would cut Social Security and Medicare before the defense budget. He won't protect a woman's right to choose. And he questions Wall Street reforms and consumer protections that we need to protect our economy and our families and our small businesses from another financial crisis. These laws will help restore consumer confidence and faith in our markets and our financial system, and that's critical to our economic recovery. These differences matter. They matter to people's lives and to our collective future. Oregonians can trust that I'll stand up for these values, just as I have as an advocate in our community, as a legislator, and as I will continue to do in Congress, because I've already have and I will continue to. So I want to thank everyone again for being here today. This means a lot to me to have everyone come together, and let's go win on January 31st.